Department of Housing, Urban Housing, they were just like weren't able to keep up with the maintenance and such. And then with the new federal administration, there was a real push to not eradicate, but kind of underfund even more public housing. And so they gave cities across the United States the option to buy or to take possession of the land. But they don't have to buy it. They now own the land, and they can take a home equity line against the land to redevelop it all. So this process is a long process, but you can imagine for people who've lived here for years and years how terrifying that whole process is for them. But it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to be a 2-year planning process to figure out. And part of the rules is that there are 300 or probably 600 total units in those 40 acres, and that the new development has to offer just that many in terms of low income, but in order to pay the equity line back, just like if you borrow money against your car or your house or whatever, they need to make money. So they're also going to do a center, 30% would be workforce housing, so people who make anywhere between 40 and 60% of the average salary for Davidson County, and then market rate would be for the other 30%. And then they will also hopefully get a grocery store and some pharmacies and kind of get back that mixed income, mixed use world that was here before the government kind of screwed it up, right? So it's this idea that we're doing, and there's a lot of neighbors that are volunteering on that committee. Anyone can volunteer on that committee. It's interesting. It is really interesting. So that process is called Envision Edgehill. They're doing it over at Edgehill Homes. They're doing it at all the public housing throughout Nashville. But it's heated and it's hard.
So it's coming from the Trump administration to do this.
Yeah, it's actually started as an Obama administration thing. This idea that if you're passionate about making improvements, we just know that there's no funding through Congress to make that happen. So like if you borrow the land, you can have the land, but you're obligated to replace it one for one, and then you can add whatever configuration it makes sense to be able to pay back the loan. So, but they're only in 20-year cycles. So for 40 years, we'll have the public housing here, and we'll see what happens. It's a long time, but not a long time, in terms of how all these things happen.
You said anyone could be on these committees, but who ultimately has to agree in order for the plan to take?
Yeah, so MDHA they lead it all, and so they bring in groups to lead and to have discussions, and they bring talking points, and people will talk. And right now they're in the phase where they've hired people from Edgehill Homes, the retired persons, to go out and survey their neighbors and ask, do we need a grocery store? Do you need this? Do you need that?